today, and now you feel fat today also. You're welcome. And now there's a podcast.
Hello, welcome to I Feel Fat Today. I'm your host, Kelly Taylor. Thank you for joining. Thank you so much for joining. I just said that. Sorry. Quick intro today. Now, I'm totally excited for you guys to listen to the episode with my guest today. It's really great. I know that there's a lot going on in the world of diet culture. There's a ton to talk about with the, Remy Bader coming out and letting everybody know that she had weight loss surgery. I have a few life updates, but with life being so busy, that episode is going to have to wait till next week. It's not ideal. I did want to film it and put it out today, especially because last week I did a replay episode, which I hope everyone enjoyed. And in that replay episode, the reason why I chose that one was because it was September of 2023 when Remy had posted a video to her TikTok about not wanting to be transparent with anything she does that would affect the size of her body. And here we are, in March, April of 2025, seeing the after effects of that. And the internet is full of opinions on it. And I've been listening to every single one of them. So I've thought it best to take the time to record this weekend where I could really put together my thoughts and talk about a lot of stuff that I wanted to get to, talk about skinny talk and just kind of have a solo episode where we talk about some new things happening in the world of diet culture. So we have to wait a week. I apologize. It's not ideal. Hopefully everybody's not on to the next thing by then, which we probably will be because that's just where we are these days. Okay. First things first, we're going to get into it. I did post an April Fool's prank where I said I was rebranding the podcast from I Feel Fat Today to I Feel Skinny Today, and I was getting weight loss surgery. Definitely want to clarify that was just a prank, not what I'm doing, but I guess it was a good one because everyone believed me. Which I guess I'll just tell myself it was a good joke and not an extremely believable thing for me to do. Okay. So the great episode for you this week. We'll get into it with my guest, and then next week it'll be a solo episode. Before I bring on my guest, please subscribe to us on YouTube where we have full video episodes like the very one you're listening to right now. Subscribe over there. You'll learn when we have new episodes coming out, which is every Friday. And I'm also posting clips of the show over on YouTube. You can listen to us while you're driving in your car over at Apple Podcasts or on Spotify. Over at Apple Podcasts, leave us a 5-star review. That kind of stuff helps. And follow us on Instagram at I Feel Fat Today. I post about new episodes. I post clips of the podcast. You can follow me over there. And you can follow me at Hello, This is Kelly. Stay up to date with me. The more followers I have, the more chance I have of coming to your city to do comedy. Okay, I think that's all I want to plug right now. And we'll get into it with our guest. Please welcome to the show my guest for this week, John Hedrick.
Okay.
Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Okay. Where do we begin? You have your buddy here.
Hi,
so
Finn.
Happy. Where are you from? I don't know where you're from.
I'm from Maryland.
You're from Maryland.
Yeah.
Okay. And how old are you? Sorry.
Oh, getting hot dog breath in my mouth. How
Yeah.
old am I? I'm 27.
Wow. I would have guessed 24.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's very kind.
That's pretty good.
Thanks.
That's pretty good. Well,
It's
you
that-
actually,
It's that Wasian blood.
yeah, you
I drink Wasian blood.
you gave me a compliment of that nature recently. I said I was in my 30s, and you were like, "Really? I thought you were in your 20s."
I
Nice.
fully thought you were in your 20s. I still think you're in your 20s. I
Wow.
forgot about that 30s comment.
Thank you. I
That's all-
appreciate that.
You look great.
Thank you.
And then we talked about skincare for about
yes,
30
we did,
minutes
and your
after
face
that.
cleared up. Did you listen to me?
What did you recommend? Niacinamide?
I said
No.
I said to moisturize. Wash your face with a gentle cleanser and moisturize.
I switched to benzoyl peroxide,
Mm.
and I'm still moisturizing with La Roche-Posay.
Yes, that's the one.
Yeah,
That's
but
the one.
I got my sister recommended Ordinary.
Yes, that's great. I use that as well.
Yeah, and I think I got the smaller percentage of niacinamide.
Yeah.
So I started doing that, and immediately it started going to work. But if I mix that, I also upped my BHA Paula's Choice. We're getting deep into
Yeah.
skincare
Oh
right
yeah.
now.
Oh yeah.
I upped that up to 2 times a day, and then I started breaking out in a rash around my mouth. Super weird.
Reaction.
So I cut out, as of yesterday, I cut out BHA, and I'll ease it back in.
Nice.
I think if I do it once a day, it'll
Yeah.
be fine. But then I was doing toner at night as well with niacinamide.
Well, I don't know. I feel like that's fine together, but you do have to be careful with serums and things because your face could react and you were
Oh, it
reacting
did.
poorly.
Oh
Yeah.
my God. Yeah, it looked like I had ringworm on my mouth.
No.
Yeah.
No.
It looked like I was eating, I don't know, a wrestling mat
Yeah.
recently. It was disgusting.
You went to a discount yoga studio.
Yeah, and I licked it.
And now you look great. And like your looks are important because you do model.
Ah, yes, I do.
Yeah.
I do model.
So when did you start modeling?
I started about 2 years ago.
Yeah. And how did that come upon? Like, did you seek it out or was someone like, you should be a model?
It was kind of the latter more than anything. My mom was always like, "Oh, you should do it. You should do it. You
Oh,
have
nice.
all the chops for it." But it's just like every fucking mom says that. So I was like, "You don't mean that."
My handsome son.
Yeah, exactly. Every mom has a hot son.
Every mom thinks their son is a model.
Yeah, no, literally. So I was like, "Mom, you're just bullshitting." And then as I got older, I got like, well, actually not older, but like when I moved to New York, I got scouted.
Oh,
like,
cool.
By 1 or 2 people, and then I followed up with them, and then they didn't do anything.
Sorry.
And
Finn,
get 'em,
relax.
Finn.
It's your father.
I'm telling you, dogs, they just like, whatever they're confused about. They're like at the loudest volume
Oh
possible.
yeah,
I
that
have to
was like
yell.
that was earth shattering just now.
That was insane. Little pup.
There we go.
So yeah, I was
You got
scouted.
scouted.
Yeah, scouted by a couple people. Followed up with them. They didn't do anything about it, and I was like, all right, well, it doesn't matter. I'm here to do stand up anyways.
Yeah.
And then one day, this girl I went to high school with, her name's Jackie Owen. We like kept in touch, and she hit me up every now and then. We would just like grab a drink or like catch up or whatever. And she hit me up one day and was like, hey, do you want to like come in to this modeling agency I work at? You could maybe like meet some people. If not, like we can just like hang for a little bit. And I was like, okay, cool. Like I'm going to go hang out with my friend Jackie at the modeling agency.
Yeah.
Whatever. And then I get there and she's like, hey, like go, these are the guys that work on like the men's side of things. Just go say hi. And then next thing I know, I'm sitting down and doing an interview with one of the agents.
Whoa.
And then at the end of the interview, he goes, well, I want to work with you. Here's a contract. And he slides me a contract. And I was like, dude, I was just here to hang out with Jackie. Like, I don't know
Were
why.
you sketched out?
I was like, what the fuck
Yeah.
was this?
I'm like, is this an MLM?
No, but that's the thing is like you're in there and it's like it was a very legit office.
Right.
And like the interview was right in front of the 4 like other agents that were there and they're literally working and like other models are walking in saying hi or like getting their digitals done. Like it's there's a lot of moving parts, so it's like a very legit agency. And then I went home and like looked it up and it turns out it's like one of the top agencies in New York where I was like tripping out. I don't want to be like, oh yeah, I work for like the best agency.
No,
but
for sure. Yeah.
But it's up there. And I was like, oh shit.
That's a testament to blissful ignorance. When
Yeah.
you don't know that you're walking into something that you should be nervous about,
Yeah.
what is there to be nervous about? You don't know you're supposed to be.
Exactly. And I got nervous because I was like, oh shit, are we doing an interview? And he was like, no. Like just talk to me.
We're
Like I
just
just want to get to
chatting.
know you. And I was like, oh shit. And then the next day I was asked to be on Mr. Beast. So it was
Get out of here.
it was Monday, handed a contract to be a model, and then Tuesday I got stopped by Jack Inanen, who's pretty big on like TikTok and stuff. and he stopped me and then asked me to be on Mr. Beast. And then by the end of that day, we were making plans to go to Italy.
Oh my God. Wait, so for the modeling, were you just, oh no, your friend was like, oh, come hang out. Because
Yeah.
I wasn't asked, like, were you like stopped in Soho? Was it something cool like that?
The first time I was scouted, it was actually like on this corner. Like it was right over there. And it was
There
by
be
like,
models around here.
yeah, but I didn't look like him. I had like, I think I had like
probably just look
long-
cool.
I guess
You have
maybe.
a skateboard.
Yeah, I think I had my board, and I was just like a guy, just like I was talking to Nico Carney. We were hanging out. We were just having a conversation, and then there was a guy. It was like me and Nico, and then there was a guy like this far away from us, just standing there, like waiting to like politely interrupt. And I was like, about to be like, dude, do you want like money or something? Like, are you okay? And he was like, this might be weird, but have you ever been asked to be a model? And I was like, oh no, I haven't. So it was very kind. So that was the first time, and then the second time was on my way to. Remember when people used to do shows at that ice cream shop in Gowanus?
Yes.
Was it Ample Hill?
Yes.
In the upstairs?
Yeah.
I was on my way to do a show there. And it was like a hot summer day. And I
Yeah.
had long blonde hair, like bleach blonde hair.
Wow.
And this lady ran across the street and stopped me, which was very sweet. It's very
Yeah,
flattering.
that's awesome.
It's very kind.
Now
yeah.
when people stop you have to be like, I'm already signed.
I don't know. I have such a weird thing. Like, it's very complimentary. I don't know. I kind of feel weird. This is probably like douchey to say, but it's like, I don't know. I don't want to like claim it sometimes.
Totally.
You know?
Want it? No, and I feel like that's the comic in you.
It's totally that.
Yeah.
Because when people are like I watched Shane Gillis and Dave Attell leave the cellar one night, and everyone's coming up to Dave Attell, and he's just trying to smoke a cigarette.
Right.
And I was like kind of a friend of a friend of a friend of Shane Gillis's, so
Totally.
I was kind of near Shane.
Yeah.
And everyone's going like, Dave, I loved you. I loved your show, and blah, 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 blah. And Dave the whole time is like, yeah, you know, it's whatever. Like, how about Shane? Like,
Right.
immediately diverts it. Like, Shane's the best, isn't he? And I, like, see that, and I go, like, fuck. Like, I get that feeling of,
Totally.
like, it's a weird feeling because you're like, fuck, I want all the praise in the world. But as soon as, like, a stranger or, like, a bunch of people are giving it to you, you're like, this is weird. Like, I'd rather be the bigger man or bigger person and just hand it off to someone else.
Totally. And it's like not because that other person isn't good. You wouldn't be like, oh, this person's great if they're not. But it's just the not being able to claim it. It's like a weird insecurity.
Yeah, it's so strange.
Yeah.
I don't know what the psychology is behind it, but it's something that is specifically with modeling I try to avoid.
Yeah. I mean, maybe I know for comedy, I have this, for me, it's like a feeling of unworthiness and like,
Imposter syndrome?
Yeah. For sure. And you don't feel like you maybe have that for comedy as well, or is it like
I used to have imposter syndrome when I first started out, like when I was doing shows and mics and stuff in DC when I started out, and then when I moved up to New York and then things kind of started clicking up here, I was like, oh no, I was supposed to be doing this. Like this is this
for
all,
sure.
like, makes sense.
Yeah. That's great.
You still feel that now though?
A little bit.
You've been in the game.
I know, but still it's, you know, I'm very tuned into what I feel like I deserve when I'm not getting it. And then when I get it, I'm constantly second guessing myself. Yeah.
What an awful
I know
whirlwind that comics are in.
Yeah.
I know a lot of other people that are like that as well.
Yeah. And like even with acting, like we take an acting class together.
Act Academy,
the Zen of Acting on
Zen
Instagram.
of Acting.
It's the best ever.
It's honestly great.
It's so fun. I just straight up don't believe people when they say like that I did well, like with scenes. Because I just think, how could I have done well?
Yeah.
But this isn't about me. What did Mr. Beast ask you to do?
For $500, will you go on a blind date in Venice, Italy?
Did you do it?
Yeah.
How was it?
She was 19.
Okay.
And I was 25 at the time.
Okay, it's all legal.
Shut up, Kelly. Shut up. Shut the hell up.
It's weird. It's weird.
It was awful. Well, it wasn't awful. She was nice. Get this, also from Maryland.
Oh, okay.
She was
weird.
like 30 minutes from where I was from.
Okay.
So we found that out. Here's the thing. a little peek behind the curtain. The day I get stopped on the street, I get followed by a random girl. And on the way out, so like the producer was there and the guy that stopped me was there, and then like one other producer. And we were all hanging out in my apartment, blah, blah, blah. Just like kind of like planning shit out, like basic logistics. And then they leave and they're like, okay, I hear one of them. They think I can't hear them, but they go, oh, we're going to go over to like Nia's apartment. She's like close by. And I used to live right next to like NYU. So then later that day, I get followed by someone named Sonia.
Uh-huh.
So I just only heard the Nia part,
Right.
but it was this girl. She goes to NYU, and it's her graduating class is like 2025 or 2026.
Yes.
And I was like, how old is that?
Yeah.
And it turns out she's followed by all the producers that just followed me. And I was like, this is the girl.
Right.
And I go, fuck, she's 19.
Yeah, yeah.
And me and my other roommates in the apartment, I had 3 at the time, which was kind of hilarious. We're all talking about it, and we're like, fuck. And I was like, fuck, dude, I have to pretend on camera in front of millions of like little kids that I'm stoked and don't know that this girl is 19.
Yeah.
And like so that's like in the video I'm like nervous like about the date, but for real I was like nervous about like fuck, I don't know how to make this like very convincing, if that makes sense.
Okay, was it like John 25? Like, were they being like, you know, because you do look young. So if it's for the sake of the YouTube video, it's like actors almost.
Yeah. And where they stopped me was like peak NYU campus.
Right.
Like it was in front of their new building.
Right. I would have ventured to guess they probably thought that you were at most 23.
Yeah.
And then at that point didn't care upon learning your age.
They asked my age. There was a moment where they asked my age. They're like, how old are you? And I was like, I'm 25. And they're like, all right, that's fine.
Yeah, they did the thing that I did of it's legal.
Yeah, and I was like, but then they were like, she's pretty cute.
Oh yeah.
Like I think you're gonna like her. She's pretty cute.
People have,
and I was like, okay. And then I saw her profile and I was like, God damn it. Like, she's fucking 19.
Yeah, so young.
Yeah,
wow.
Insanely young. Yeah.
Do you go for younger women or do you go for older women?
No, Kelly. What?
I don't know. Younger women is like
19.
22.
22. Yeah, I guess. Oh shit. Yeah, it is. That
You
is
know
the
what I
case
mean?
now. No, my girlfriend, she's 1 year younger than me.
It's the same age.
It's the same age.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm like way more mature and smarter. No. She's
Your typical 27-year-old.
Yeah, I'm like really mature for my age and gender. No, she's brilliant. She's got it together.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so how old were you when you moved to New York?
I was 23.
And you moved here alone?
What do you mean? Like, was I in a relationship or did I move here with friends?
Either one. Like, was it just you being like, see ya, Mom. I'm going to live in the big city. Like, obviously you have roommates and stuff.
Yeah, it was kind of an ideal time. So DC was starting to do like outdoor shows.
Yes.
And
I keep forgetting COVID was like
such
a thing.
So June 2021 is when I moved up here.
Okay.
So it was like as soon as I got my second vaccine, it was like, we're going.
Get on the Amtrak.
We're literally, we packed a U-Haul. So my good friends from college, Tim Baker, Alex Asifo, and Nick Borsch. I went to elementary school with Nick and Tim.
Oh,
and
that's
then
awesome.
Alex and I have been producing shows since 2018. We went to college together. And Alex was living in Harlem before the lockdown. Tim was living in Gramercy before lockdown. And then Nick, I think, was just at home, like working from home at his parents' place, saving money. And I was living in D.C.
Mm-hmm.
We all ended up moving back to Columbia, Maryland, where we're from. And then as things started to open back up, I was like, all right, the DC scene is starting to get back into the swing of things, and I don't live down there anymore. Yeah. So now I'm not really a part of the scene. Do I really want to get back into the grind of like a small scene where I could just move to New York? And Tim and Alex were already talking about it. And then it was us 3 talking about it. And then Tim was like, wait, I think Nick wants to move with us. And we were like, oh, shit. And then we found this amazing apartment on Sullivan Street, literally 2 blocks away from the Cellar.
Wow.
And like Blue Note and like Washington Square Park, like the best area ever. And I did not have sunlight in my room for 3 years. And my room was just like a queen size bed. Actually, it was a pretty big room. Queen size bed, a desk, and I had a closet and a dresser. So it was pretty good for Manhattan.
Yeah.
Just no sunlight.
Totally, which can take a toll. But anytime I'm thinking like, oh, I wish I had this, or whatever, I'm like, I live in the best city in the world. I don't need that. I don't need vitamin D.
I get that comes in a pill form.
Yeah, totally. You know how you get vitamin D? Leaving your goddamn apartment.
Yeah,
which
seriously.
is what you have to do comedy.
Yeah.
So.
Well, that was the thing. That was the reason why I got stopped by Mr. Beast, because I would go on a morning walk every morning.
Right, because you couldn't be inside.
Because I didn't fucking wake up to the sun.
Yeah.
It was so dark. But honestly, like, just I mean, some people might be bummed out about this, but it was a perfect fucking transition to New York.
Yeah.
Like, great first apartment, great neighborhood. I wish I could move back to that neighborhood and have sunlight.
Yeah. Did you just move out of that building because it was like time for sunlight, or like, what was the deal?
Well, it was 3 years of 4 of us living in that space, and it was a huge space. Don't get me wrong. It didn't feel like we were on top of each other, but it was one bathroom, and we were all starting to like date more.
Yeah.
So it would be like kind of funny to like bring a girl home and there's like 3 shirtless dudes on the couch.
Right.
And it's like, all right, well, I guess we'll go hang in my room.
Don't worry, we've all been that girl coming home with a guy that has 3 shirtless dudes on the couch.
Okay,
That's a very like lady in New York experience.
Yeah, but we were like, we don't need to. We were like, we're turning 25.
Yeah.
Like, we're on the other half of our 20s now.
Yeah, frontal lobes have been developed. I totally get it.
Yeah, I mean, we put so much damage on our frontal lobes. The amount of drinking we did there, oh my God, it's so stunted. But it was just like, it's time to grow up.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's evolved.
Hey, thanks.
Yeah. Okay, so you grew up in Maryland, and you mentioned when I told you how great you look for your age that you have a little bit of Asian in you. Did you say?
Yeah.
What are your parents' ethnicities?
My mom is Chinese and my dad is white.
Okay, cool. So
Which-
50-50?
50-50.
Got it.
Yep.
Got it.
Full-blown Hispanic looking, but
Yeah.
yeah. I'm just half Asian. Dude, I work with a lot of Hispanic people, and they just found out that my mom is Chinese, and they didn't believe me. They're like, no, you're Hispanic.
That's
You've been
so
Hispanic
funny.
this
No,
whole
you
time.
are.
Yeah, they're like, your mom's not Chinese. I'm like, no, it's true. I just didn't tell you guys. I just didn't come up.
Right. Yeah, I guess because, like, you're... how do I say this? But, like, I guess people that are half Asian, half Chinese especially, look more Chinese.
You think?
I think.
Do you know a lot of other, like, Asians? Like, half Asians?
Well, Joe's a quarter Asian.
Whoa, no way.
Yeah.
Dude, it varies so much.
It really does vary. And like Joe's, it's like a quarter Asian, like a quarter, like half white, and then a quarter Panamanian. So it's like a little bit harder to tell. But you never know how like everything comes out in the wash the way it's going to come out.
Yeah. I have a friend, Ben Wong, who's a quarter Korean, and he looks like half Korean.
Yeah.
Like, he looks very Korean, but his brother looks pretty white. With like a little like twinge of Asian. You can kind of see it.
Yeah.
But you're like, well, why don't you all just look half Asian?
Right.
I don't get it. I don't know if I can get it. But
and then sorry.
I don't know. I was just gonna say there's like just some people that it just comes out so different sometimes. Super weird.
Are you an only child?
No, I have 3 siblings.
Oh, okay. Where are you on the order?
Oh, I'm the last.
Wow, the baby. The baby moves to the big city.
It's kind of crazy to think about. I'm the only one in the family that doesn't have a child.
But
now.
That's funny.
Well, I'm the youngest, so it's like kind of makes sense. But I'm
so much less pressure.
I had a mini kind of panic attack, or I don't know if I should call it a panic attack, but a
existential crisis.
Yeah, something washed over me when my sister got pregnant. She's the next oldest.
Yeah.
And then I have 2 older brothers. And I like cried in front of her. And we started crying together because I was just like, hey, like Jason and Jai, my oldest brothers, no shit, they're going to have kids. They're way older than me. Jason's 10 years older than me. Jai's 18 years older than me. Like,
way bigger.
Yeah. So when I was like fucking 8 years old. They were ready to have children. Maybe
Yeah.
not Jason, but Jai was ready to have.
College, yeah.
Yeah, so I was just like, I was begging them to have kids.
Yeah.
My older brothers. And then now Chrissy's pregnant, and it's like, well, hold on, like, you were just in college,
Yeah.
and I was like just in high school, and we were both bickering at mom and dad's. Like, this is so weird. Like, I never expected you to have a kid.
Right.
Like,
right.
you're the last one. I don't have any kids. You're the last one to have a kid. This is insane. I never expected my older sister to have one. And then we started crying in the restaurant. It was just a huge like chapter in the family. I don't know. It just felt like a big
Yeah,
leap.
I mean, it definitely is one of those moments where I would imagine it's like we're growing up.
That's what it felt like.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I'm not like a little kid uncle anymore.
Right, right.
I'm like
A little kid uncle, yeah.
You know, like a kid
no,
uncle. You
for sure. I remember when there'd be one in like my class, they would be like,
Yeah.
"Oh, I'm an uncle." You know, you're like,
that's
"Fuck."
that's
Yeah,
cool
yeah,
as shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the thing is, you have zero responsibilities as an uncle. Kid uncle, oh my God. You're just fucking playing with the babies.
Yeah,
Like,
it's the best.
You don't even have to bring gifts
Right.
anymore. But then, like, my sister's having this baby, and I'm like, shit, now I got a Christmas shop for
Yeah.
5
Now
nieces
you gotta
and
bring.
nephews.
Yep.
I
Now you gotta
step
bring
my game.
gifts.
I don't have an excuse anymore. I'm
Yep.
a full-blown adult now.
How much older is your sister?
She's 5 years older.
Okay, yeah. So she's like true older sister. Like
Yeah.
I'm an older sister to
Okay.
a younger brother, 6 years younger than me. And like
Okay.
you know, I totally get that dynamic of like you're my little brother, but you're like also kind of like my little prodigy, like my little son. You
Yeah,
know, like
yeah.
he's into the music that he's into because like he would inherit like my band shirts.
Okay,
you know?
nice.
So it's like I could totally get like that feeling of wait a second, like you're growing up. That's so scary.
Yeah.
Okay.
Big leap. Were you protective of your brother?
Over both my brothers. Yeah, I have an older brother too.
Really?
Yeah.
The
super
sister always does that. Because
Yeah.
my sister's the same way with her older brothers.
Yeah, I think it's tough when I mean, there's a lot of in your sibling dynamic, there's a lot of ages.
There's so
A lot
many
of
ages.
a lot of years in between each kid,
Yeah.
which totally like your two older brothers dynamic, which they have a big age gap.
It's like 7 years.
Yeah,
pretty
like
sure.
that's a
Yeah.
big age gap. And then, you know, you and your sister probably have a closer dynamic just because of the 5 years. Because
Yeah.
then,
But it still
well,
felt gigantic.
gigantic. Totally.
Gi-
No, totally. Yeah. But I think there's something to. I think it's tough being the only sister. I don't know how it is for your sister, but
Sure.
I know from my experience, it's like as a girl, like as the only girl, like I'm trying to be the peacekeeper.
Yeah.
I'm protecting everybody. I want to make sure everybody's good, you know?
Yeah. That's really interesting. My sister was a fucking thorn bush. She was.
That's so awesome.
She's very prickly, but then when she's never liked like any other woman entering the house.
protective.
Very
A pit bull.
protective. Yeah, of like all of the brothers' girlfriends.
Oh, yeah.
All of them. She's never liked any of them. But all of them are great is the thing. Like they've
Yeah.
all been very charming with her
Right.
and she's reciprocated. But then like if I went through a breakup or something, she would be like, "Yeah, I didn't like her anyways."
Yeah,
I was
yeah,
like,
yeah.
"What the fuck? When was that?"
Yeah.
I was with her for 2 years and you didn't like her those full 2 years? She had dinner with us, dude.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah, and she's like, no, not for me.
Yeah, she was like, I thought she was a bitch. And I was like, whoa.
Yeah. Bitch, right? No, it's like, at least she was nice when they were there, but then, like, they're
Oh,
no
yeah.
longer around, and it's like real sisters' opinions come out.
Oh my gosh, she was like, yeah, now I can fucking let
Yeah,
loose.
now I
was
can
like,
let
all right,
loose.
loose cannon Christy, Jesus.
So did four feel like did four feel like a crowd? That's like a bit of a discourse online now. Is like how many kids are too many kids? Like,
Yeah.
did your house feel too tight?
I didn't feel that way growing up. I mean, I was the youngest, so it was like as I got
the
older,
oldest was already out. Yeah.
well, he was there.
Mm.
When I started having memories, and I was sleeping, I was sharing a room with Jason, and Jai was in one room, and Christy was across the hall. And so Jai would be coming home from like community college or UMBC, which is like the University of Baltimore County or some shit like that. So it was like a 20-minute drive away.
Yeah.
And he would come home and stay at the parents' house, and his girlfriend, soon-to-be wife, would be there, and I would always try and like hang out with them. So for my brother, it probably felt crowded, but for me, I was like a tiny little kid, just fucking hiding behind couches and stuff. So I loved like a good nook.
Yeah.
Oh, I still love a good nook. I'll squeeze this giant body into a tiny nook. I don't give a shit. I love it. So it was just it didn't feel crowded for me. It felt fine, but I'm sure, like I said, like as I got older, I just got more space.
Right, because people would move out.
Yeah, so Jai eventually moved out. Chrissy moved into that room, and then I got my own room, and then Jason was in that room for a while. He eventually moved out, and I got that big room, and then Christy stayed in that room. So things just were pretty okay.
Yeah, yeah.
For Christy, she did not like whenever I was in the house.
Really?
Yeah, it was really crazy, and I realize now that she was just bitter.
Yeah.
That she was like, I don't know, like a junior at Towson University and fucking like didn't have her own place.
Totally.
And a lot of her friends did.
Yeah.
And she had to commute 45 minutes to an hour, sometimes an hour and a half with traffic.
Right.
So it was just like, she was just pissed. And then she always, her pissiness always manifested in the form of saying, in the form of insulting me to my face, being like, you smell like farts. Or like if I like walked into a room, she'd be like, the room smells now. Like you smell whenever you walk by me. And I'm like, I just took a shower.
Vicious.
Like just any time, any moment. And then as soon as she moved out, got engaged. She's now married. I mean, obviously she's married and has a kid, but got engaged and got her own townhome up the street. She was like, oh my God, you should like come over, like check out the, like you can like sleep over. And I was like, do you not remember insulting me a year and a half ago? Like, what what is this?
She's like, I don't know her.
Yeah, I was like, no, but like, I love you. And I was like, this is my first time hearing you say that
Oh
ever.
my God, that's so funny.
Yeah, it was. I love it now, don't get me wrong. But it's just funny, this switch. She needed space. That's all she needed.
Yeah, totally. And it manifested in her being snappy and nasty to you.
I'm telling you, a thorn bush. She's
that's a great way to
prickly.
describe somebody.
Yeah.
I feel safe around a thorn bush.
Would you?
Yeah, because thorn bushes are like...
They're very pretty.
Yeah, and they're like... they can be like a matter of protection. You know, if you're hiding from something. Like if you're prey and you hide in a thorn bush. Predator can't get you.
Right.
Or they'll have a tougher time.
Right.
She seems to have a protective aura from what you're describing.
Yeah. For sure.
So when you were a youth, like, did you play sports? Like, were you in theater? Like, what was your vibe?
I was a skateboarder. I started skating at 9 years old. The start of 5th grade is when I started skating.
That's cool. You found that on your own? You just picked that up? Or?
No, Ryan Wade, my childhood friend, started skating with Joey Powers. And they were talking about it, I think, the week before school started. And I was like, well, fuck, that sounds really cool. Jason's got an old skateboard in the garage. I'll just use that one.
Yeah.
And I was like, I want to hang out with them. Those are like the cool kids. I love those guys. So Joey and Ryan and me, we went to a skate park one Sunday, Columbia Skate Park. And Ryan was able to drop in on everything. And Joey was able to drop in on like most stuff. And then I had no idea how to do it.
So scary.
It was pretty scary. And then I spent the day being able to do it on most things. No. On like one or two small ramps that didn't have coping, which is like the little metal pipe on the side. Mm-hmm. So if it doesn't have coping, it's like it doesn't feel like that little drop there.
Right.
It just kind of feels like you're rolling down it. And I was like, oh, I figured that out pretty quick. So I spent the day trying to grow the balls to drop in on something with coping.
Yeah.
Oh my God, and I ate shit. It was literally like the session ended at 5 p.m. They would kick everyone at 5 p.m. Like 4:55, I try it and just fall on my ass so hard. And then my parents were like, all right, gotta go. So I limped to the car afterwards. But that was the first day of skating. I remember it so vividly. And I haven't stopped since then.
I love that. That's awesome. I mean, I wish I could go back and start something at 9 years old and be super good at it.
I didn't realize like it would turn into something like the skill that I have now.
Yeah.
Like I thought it was always kind of like, oh, like I'm like fine.
You have a mode of transportation that most people don't.
Oh yeah, also
That's
true.
awesome.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
have your own transit system.
I mean, it's not that great. Like you're better off city biking. The ground here sucks.
The ground here does seem like it's rough.
Oh, it's so bad. It's dangerous on a bike. Like a skateboard's
Yeah.
tinier wheels and.
Yeah.
Also, I biked here from Crown Heights. I was at my friend's place before this. And you have to go through South Williamsburg,
Yeah.
where a lot of Jewish people live, which is fine.
Mm-hmm.
My only critique, I have a critique. It seems like there's no laws in their little town. I feel like
You kind of nailed it. Yeah, they do just be walking out into the street.
dude, there's no jaywalking laws or fucking anything over there. Not even like a consensus or even any regard for bikers. And I don't want to be one of those guys who's on a bike that's like, oh, get the fuck out of the bike. Like, I think those guys need to fucking take the thumb or whatever phallic shape is up their ass.
The bike seat.
The bike seat. Why'd you get a bike seat that's dildo shaped
Yeah.
and fucking not even
Doesn't need to be
vibrating
that
or
narrow.
going in a counterclockwise fashion? There's no pleasure in it. You're just pissed off.
Just mad.
You're just mad. I don't want to be one of those bikers.
Totally.
But holy shit, there were like
I'm trying to not die.
I'm on an e-bike too, so I'm whipping. I'm trying to get here. I was 30 minutes late, folks. I do apologize. So I'm trying to get here and I'm
Yeah.
zooming in the bike lane. And it's like they're just like walking like, well, the hat's gigantic. They got to see me. There's no way they don't see how big my fucking hat is.
No.
And then the craziest part, and I know they have no regard for bikers, it's built within them. I saw 4 little Jewish girls line up in the bike lane and played chicken with me. I'm on an e-bike going 15 miles an hour and 4 Jewish girls stand there like this in the bike lane, no taller than this. And I stopped and they moved out of the way and I just went, wow! And then I biked away. I was furious. I was like, what are you doing? And the mom was like, that was a pretty good joke on them. I was like, what are you, that's not even that great of a joke.
Listen, that's what happens when you don't give kids iPads. They have to
Exactly.
play with strangers.
I know. It's like, God, just let them make light. Just let them do it. Let them have the electricity. No, it was just like, holy shit, I can't. And then like the drivers too. They're like,
Yeah. It's their town.
they're boxing you out, man. It's
Oh,
their
yeah.
town. It's like,
Yeah.
ugh. No
yeah.
Israel jokes. Pretty good. Pretty good
Pretty
for riffing.
good. Pretty good.
I have one in my back pocket, but I won't say it.
You can say it and then I can cut it.
We'll just bleep the whole
Yeah.
the next 30 seconds are bleeped. I was gonna say, why colonize the Gaza Bank when you got fucking South Williamsburg? You got
South
their own.
Williamsburg, baby. That's
you got
their
your own
town.
Israel right there.
Yeah, it's right there.
It's right
And
there. Also, have you ever noticed that they build those fucking decks that
Yes.
come out of? They don't look safe at all.
No, not even. Dude, the infrastructure, there's no permits. There's no permits happening.
I'm sorry, there's no laws over there. They do whatever they want.
It is lawless. I do. And, there's this restaurant that I really enjoy in South Williamsburg that's right next to this apartment building that is just filled with the Hasidic Jews.
Sure.
And obviously, their community.
Yeah.
But it feels like the building one day is just going to go like this.
Yeah, because they have so many extensions hanging out of the
Yes.
side. The craziest ones that I see is like it's 3 stories up and they just put 2 100-foot-long poles
Yeah.
to hold it up. And I'm like, what the, you guys, I mean,
Yeah.
it looks awesome. I would love to hang out there, to have like a deck like
Yeah.
that. That's
Oh, yeah.
fucking awesome.
That's
But I'm like,
awesome.
holy shit, you do not see that anywhere else because
No.
it's an OSHA violation.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. And like, whatever. Isn't that what's so great about New York, though? The little things like that, where no one has permits. There's areas of New York where it's like incredibly like, litigious and by the book, and you have to have all your paperwork.
Yeah,
but then
yeah,
there's
yeah.
other areas where it's like, we have our own governance. We're good. We don't need you.
Yeah, the cops here are all
Yeah.
my friend.
Yeah. Yeah.
I drink with them on Saturdays. They're not gonna look into this. Yeah, insane. Honestly, insane. But I got here.
Yeah, you got here. Really quick, did you ever have like a gnarly injury from skating?
No, just rolling my ankles. You ever done that? Where
Yeah, for sure.
You have an ankle that's like this.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it's like that.
Yeah. Yeah. In 2020, I took up rollerblading. So yeah.
Oh my! And then yeah.
Yeah, that happened all the time.
Oh my god! And you're locked into those boots essentially.
Yeah,
like
well, I said rollerblading, but I meant roller skating.
skates. With
Yeah,
the
four.
the wheels are like this
Mhm.
rather than like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still rolling all over the place.
Those are harder.
Yeah, they are harder,
You roll your ankle more on those. I feel
Yes.
like. Yeah.
but it's fun.
Yeah. Did it gets all puffy and stuff?
Yeah.
It's-
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. It's fucking. Yeah. I think I had I forget what it was called. I had some kind of fracture in my foot, but I didn't realize it until like 2 months later. Because it was like for a while, you know, when I started skating when I was young, so I would fuck up my ankles all the time. And I'm like, oh, I'll be good in a week. And
Yeah.
I just kept that mentality until now.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So I would like roll the fuck out of my ankle at like 21. I literally couldn't walk out of the skate park. And I was like, I'll just rest for 2 weeks. And it just kept swelling up for 2 months. And it turned black and blue, my whole foot. And then I got an MRI 2 months later. And they're like, yeah, we probably would have been able to find the fracture. It was an avulsion fracture. That's what it's called.
Oh, okay.
So I didn't break a bone, but something to do with a tendon. Something
Right.
fucked up in the tendon. Anyways, I was like, well, what do we do? And they were like, well, it's too late to do anything, so just do PT. And I was like, well, I'm not going to go to PT. I'm just
Yeah.
going to work out at home. So it was just dumb shit like that. I did break my collarbone wrestling.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
How long did you wrestle for?
I wrestled for 3 years, sophomore year to senior year.
And was
High
the
school.
collarbone break what made you retire?
No, it was junior year when I broke it. And again, just a little kid. I fucking healed in like 2-3 months.
Yeah. Now
was-
that you'd be like weeks.
Yeah, I would be like, I'm not gonna move ever
Yeah.
again. But turns out two fun things. Collarbone, second most common thing to break.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know the number one, the first one?
Pinky?
No,
Toe?
wrist. Close. Wrist is
Wrist.
number one to break. I don't know. I guess because you fall. And you just
Yeah,
fucking
you
snap it.
brace yourself and people get like, I don't know. Yeah, I guess bracing yourself
Yeah,
would be the thing that
I'd break mine from cranking it.
yeah,
No,
yeah.
I'm just kidding.
It's like, did you play tennis? No. Okay, it's crazy. So you wrestled. In wrestling, there's a lot of there's a big ED culture in wrestling
Oh yeah,
because of having to make weight.
that's so funny because. Yeah, I would get in arguments a lot with people during the wrestling
About what?
season.
Let's hear
Because they'd
it.
be like, "Oh, you have an eating disorder. You're anorexic," and I'd be like, "No, I'm not."
I'm a wrestler.
I was like, It's like I would be like, "No. It's not that I'm worried about my physique
Right.
or like getting fat or anything. It's literally like if I have a half a pound of water, that could set me over. Like I literally can't. I'm
You won't
measuring
be
it
able to
by
compete.
the gram, like 0.1. Yeah, I won't be able to do it. So it's literally like I cannot. If I know nothing goes into my body, then I know I'm on weight,
Yeah.
and I can't risk any of that. So that's what it came down for me. But there are,
That's still disordered.
yeah,
I'm no doctor. Obviously.
yeah.
But you
I
know,
won't deny it. Yeah.
but I understand what you're saying. Like I was doing it in the name of competing. Like
Yeah,
it like
yeah.
it I guess you can maybe phrase it like if I didn't have this thing where I had to be at this certain benchmark, yeah, I would eat the whatever, I'll drink the whatever.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
Maybe?
Yeah, no, totally. And that's what
Yeah.
it was. It was literally like as soon as we were done with weigh-ins, we'd fucking eat everything.
Totally.
Like it would be
Yeah.
insane.
Binge.
Yeah. But I wouldn't I never purged.
Right. But did you know guys that did?
I'm trying to think. Maybe like laxatives. But nothing like that felt, I don't know. I guess all of it feels fucking crazy. But I was never concerned for it. I was like, dude, you're doing too much. It would be like, oh, we were all dehydrated. So we were all also fucking constipated. So it was
Yeah.
like, yeah, we'd take a laxative shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, yeah.
Or just to get sometimes I think I had to weigh 138 pounds. And some days I would wake up at like if I woke up at 139, fucking panic attack.
Right.
If I had to weigh in at 4 p.m. later that day, panic attack. If I was at 138.5 morning of, chilling. I could piss the rest of that day out
Yeah.
and get down to like 137.5 probably, which is also insane. It's just like very disordered. But I guess what I'm trying to say is like it never felt like anyone was worried about like how they looked. It never felt like it was stemming from like insecurity. It was always just like a numbers thing. Like it was strictly numbers.
Right. Yeah, I don't think it has to necessarily be like a bodily insecurity or a body dysmorphic thing for the behaviors to be not normal.
Yeah.
But I never understood wrestling culture in that way. I mean, I guess I understand it in that like you have to be a certain weight because of competing in certain classes and it being fair. Is that what it's in the name of?
Yeah, and I thought about that too because I was like, they should really just make it like within like a
like a
1
range.
pound, 2 pound radius. Like, will that really make a difference? But then there's a thing of like, it can, because you know how like you have PRs and like weightlifting and stuff.
Yeah.
Like maybe I can bench, I don't know, 135, but I can't bench 137.
Right.
So it's like, you know,
you're taking on a guy.
Yeah.
That is, or a person that's supposed to be 137, not 139.
Yeah. So they have to make it rigid.
Yeah.
But the thing is like as soon as you fucking get off the scale, you go drink 2 pounds of water.
Right.
And so you're already at a different weight. It's all kind of stupid. It was high school, and like the coaches there made it seem like you were going to die every time you lost a match. So it was like, if anything, that's my biggest critique of wrestling, on top of being starved to death and also sleep deprived because you're fucking going through puberty.
Yeah.
In high school. High school was a fucking idiotic time.
High school's tough.
It's tough.
Yeah.
I think it's harder than college, in my opinion.
I agree.
It's so much more it's 8 classes, all assigning you a lot of work, and then in order to get into college, you need to be doing sports and clubs, so you have no time. And then on top of that, you need a job. Mm-hmm. If your parents aren't providing for you, so you need to get a job. I was fucking exhausted. I hadn't taken off a Saturday from the years, I think 2014 to 2020.
Oh my God.
Every Saturday I worked. And then from 2014 to like 2016, 17, I was working every Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. It's like on top of all of that, and like I got to do a sport every season, and fucking I got to wake up at. Guess when my fucking lunch was at school?
Wait.
Guess the earliest lunch.
The earliest lunch had to have been 10:15.
Yes. What the fuck is that? 10:15
I know,
a.m.
It's insane.
That's the time I fucking wake up on fucking weekends.
Right.
And they were like, "Well, you got to be hungry now." And the thing is I was.
Of course you were hungry.
What the fuck
because
time was
you
I waking up?
You had to have been getting up. I was getting up for high school, and I lived close to the high school. I was still getting up at like 6 a.m. to like, do my hair and makeup.
I think 6:15 was when I would wake up, and I would be done. School started at 7:20.
So early.
7:15. And I had to be there. I think that was first bell. 7:15 was first bell. 7:20 was late bell. So I had to be at school by like, in order to find parking and all this shit, I had to be out of my house. I lived within walking distance, like less than a mile away.
Yeah,
about a
same.
mile from my high school. So it was like I had to leave at 6:50. The fuck am I doing up at 6:50, dude? I was just fucking whacking off at 12:30 a.m. a couple hours ago.
Never went to bed. Never went to bed
before
early.
Midnight.
Never.
Also, just undeniably horny. Everyone's horny.
Oh my God.
Everyone's so horny.
Yeah.
Can't focus at all.
No. And you're stressed about like social like things. Like,
oh my God, I gotta look cool.
Yeah.
I have a weird haircut.
And you're thinking about making weight.
I'm thinking about making weight.
How long was the wrestling season?
It was fucking October or November something to February or March. I can't remember.
It's like, I remember going.
It's a winter sport.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It's a winter sport. And you're just like going into a season being like, fuck, man, like this is when I'm going to have to like track what I'm eating.
Yeah.
And like,
Yeah.
know. So how rigid was your diet during the season?
It was, well, it wasn't super hard for me, thankfully. Like
you're really tall.
Yeah, and my dad's really skinny too. Or well, Yeah. Yeah. Dad, you're skinny. He's but he was like a scrawny kid, and I was a super scrawny kid. Like going into freshman year, I think I weighed like 98 pounds of high school. Fucking freshman year of high school. I was 98 pounds.
Freshman boys are the tiniest.
I was so small. And then I went through puberty and I grew fucking 6 inches in a summer.
Yeah.
And then I was like breaking 6 feet. I was 120. That was the first year I wrestled. I wrestled at 120. And then junior year, I wrestled at, what's up, Finn? Finn, what's your weight class, buddy?
Oh.
What do you think? Kind of a...
The vet always says he's good, but Joe's always saying he needs to lose some weight.
I think he's fluffy.
Yeah, he's a fluffy boy.
I think he's like just a little bit below heavyweight.
Yeah.
Welterweight or whatever. He's right in the middle. But he's not a featherweight. He's not a little guy.
No, he's not a little guy. He's got some bones, some meat.
Good for him. So I was 120 the first year I wrestled, and then I was 130. Wait, what the fuck? It doesn't matter. It was like 126 first year, and then like 132, 135 the second year, and then I was 140 to 145. And so I had a really fast metabolism, which was really helpful, and just like kind of like scrawny people tend to just be like that, where they just eat everything and then shit it all out.
Yeah.
So that was really good for me. So my diet, it got to a point where it was just like, all right, I just need to like maintain something. So my brother, he fights in the MMA. He was a wrestler too. He actually wrestled for the same coach that I had in high school.
Did you feel pressure?
No. I felt like stoked.
Yeah.
Everyone was like, they called me by like my brother's name and stuff, and they knew him and all this other shit, and they were like, yeah, you have the same body as him, like just a skinny fucking idiot. So it was he gave me this diet where it was just like, you're gonna drink a gallon of water a day, and you're just gonna eat like a lot of like natural sugars that you can just burn off really quick. And then I like went to college and fucking blah blah blah, learned some shit. I think it was keto. It was like pretty much keto. There was like no bread. Was that what keto is?
Keto is like no carb.
Okay, but I was eating a lot of fruit, which had carbs. But
yeah, and like keto's not into fruit. People that are into keto think fruit's bad for you.
Yeah, that's idiotic. It's fucking idiotic.
But it sounds like you were doing like a whole foods, almost paleo diet.
That's probably a better way to describe it. It would be 2 eggs and a cup of spinach every morning. I would just it's disgusting. I would fucking microwave the eggs and throw spinach. It was disgusting.
Vile.
Yeah, and then
it's like, why does it have to be unenjoyable?
I don't know. I could have cooked it. It would have been the same amount of time. I did it because I thought I was in a rush. I fucking wasn't. And so that was breakfast. I would eat a couple carrots with that, and then lunch would be 3 apples in lemon juice and maybe some peanut butter or some nuts or something.
Some protein aspect.
Yeah. And then wrestling practice was right after school, and then I wouldn't eat until I got home. Yeah. I think I would just eat meat, like a chicken and maybe a little bit of rice. Or I would probably just pig out because I'd be like, I'm home. Fucking hungry.
Yeah, and exhausted. And I have to do this all over again the very next day.
But the gallon of water, that really fucking changed it. I lost a lot of weight.
With the water?
With the water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you gain weight when you broke your collarbone and you were like put up?
No.
Yeah, is that just not your body type to gain weight in that way?
I mean, at the time, no, but now for sure. Yeah. But like at the time, it was like,
I know the being young.
It's
Yeah.
I talk about it with friends all the time. I used to eat a fucking pint of Ben and Jerry's.
Yeah.
They were just like, all right, well, it's Saturday. I don't have any friends or a car.
Yeah.
I'll walk to my grocery store. Also, a pint of Ben and Jerry's was fucking $4.49, which I thought was expensive at the time. Nothing.
It's literally like $8 now.
Oh my God. It's fucking, it's like $8 or $9.
$10 in some places.
Oh, it makes me want to fucking shoot someone.
Another CEO,
but I wouldn't shoot the CEOs of Ben and Jerry's.
No.
Good,
just the CEOs of major grocery stores.
Yeah.
Chains.
Oh God, it's so fucking stupid. But yeah, I would eat that and be fine. You could eat a whole pint. Also, I would feel fine. Wouldn't feel fucking disgusting afterwards or hurt my stomach. And then also other times where it'd be like, oh, I could eat a sleeve of Oreos as soon as I came home from school.
Right.
And then that that started my night.
Yeah.
It was a sleeve of double stuffed Oreos. And it just like didn't hurt or anything. God, to be a teenager's metabolism.
I know. And like, I don't subscribe to this idea that like in your 20s, you're old all of a sudden. Like, I think that that's something that Gen Z is really into, of just like, no one wants to go out. No one wants to have fun. Like, oh, we're all so old in our 20s. But the other side of that is that you're not a teenager anymore. And so you do react differently to things, and your ability, your recoil is way less, way different than what it was when you were in your teens. And so it's funny how like in our 20s, like we're told it's the best decade ever. And then like, but it's also the first decade where you start to notice like a pint of Ben and Jerry's affecting you so differently.
Oh my God. Yeah. It all started to switch after like 25 or like 26 maybe for me, where I mean, it's the reason like, I'm in it. Oh, I shouldn't rub my. I got contacts. I forgot. You're not supposed to do that with your eye.
Do you not usually wear contacts?
I'm very new to it. So new to it. It takes me like 20 minutes to.
You'll get used to it.
You wear contacts?
I do. Like I don't wear it every day. Just like to me, glasses are easier. But I do wear contacts. Like if I have like a wedding or something, or I'm going out for the night, I prefer to wear contacts.
Oh, okay, nice.
Yeah, but you'll get used to it.
Okay.
You'll get used to it.
I hope so. I'm getting so frustrated.
Yeah.
Because I can nail it. Left eye.
Yeah.
First
right in there.
First or second try, I shove it right in.
Yeah.
Don't even spit on it. And then the right eye. Oh my God, it's such a process. So, I don't know why.
Yeah.
But
are they dailies or
dailies? Yeah.
Yeah. That's the move. You just pop it out, throw it in the trash, move on to the next one.
My friend was telling me earlier that you can just you put it in the solution. You make use of it for 2 days.
I hadn't heard that, and I would
haven't been broke before.
I'll buy a 90-day supply will last me a year because
you don't wear that often.
I don't wear them that often.
Nice.
So if I was wearing them every day, maybe I would. And listen, I will like. I do think that like expiration dates are suggestions like on food and medicine.
Yeah.
But when it comes to reusing contacts, I don't know, your eyes are so precious. Like of all the things that to be precious about on the human body, I think sight is not one to fuck with.
I don't want an infection.
They
always
a
talk
scratch,
about infections.
a debris. You don't want to do that.
Well, he wasn't saying like use it for like a week. He was like you can get one more day out of it.
Yeah, and I think that that's a reasonable hack.
Yeah, but I don't know if I'll participate in it.
Yeah, maybe not all the
you.
time.
I got 6 months worth.
6 months is great. And if you might not need to use it every day.
I don't.
Yeah.
But fuck, is it nice?
Yeah, it's so nice.
It's really nice.
So nice.
I told the doctor before I got it, I was like, what if I fall in love with it? She was like, you're going to fall in love with it.
Yeah, you do. You do. Totally. And for some reason, whenever I travel, I'm always wearing contacts way more when I travel.
Oh, interesting.
You know, like when I leave New York. Because I guess in New York, it feels so like commonplace of just like,
I've seen this shit before.
I go to work all the time. Like I'm just going to wear my glasses. But when I travel,
it's really nice to see it clear.
Yeah, like I want to go to Red Rocks and not have to like make if my glasses are smudged, I don't want to be fucked.
I brought my glasses to Japan, and about like 2 days in, I like put them on just to see like what Tokyo was like, and I went, I'm wearing these for the rest of the trip.
Yeah,
I should have been doing this the whole time.
For real.
I was like, there's so much shit that's so cool.
Yeah.
And we saw like Mount Fuji.
So
we went
awesome.
to fucking Kyoto, and I was wearing my glasses the whole time, and I loved it so much. I started wearing them in New York when I came back. And then after like a day or two of New York, I was like, I don't need it. I've seen too much. I've seen too much in this goddamn city. I'm taking the glasses. Give me the blur. I'll take the blur now.
I mean, sometimes the blur, it's easier to get through New York with the blur. Like when I'm on stage, I prefer a blur.
I wore contacts on stage for the first time last week, and some glare or something, but it was all like very like just this huge white film over the audience, and I was like, this is weird.
Yeah.
And then I did the next set without glasses or contacts, and I was like, I think I like this.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I do a lot of crowd work, so it's kind of nice.
So you need to be able to see.
Be like, what are you fucking?
Yeah.
I was kind of nailing roasts the second time I wore
right,
contacts.
because you could finally see their faces.
Finally see their bad haircuts.
the faces that they're making, their disdain.
Yeah, I
Why are
like
you
it.
making that face?
Do you call them out when you're on stage?
Yeah, because
Yeah.
it makes me uncomfortable. So
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
you're making me self-conscious.
Uh-huh.
So I'm like, what's wrong? And they're like, no, then I'm having a great time.
And then are you like, well, I know you're lying. Do you say you call him a liar at that point?
Well-
Or like, look at your face. The face you're giving me right now is not telling the truth.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'll be like, okay, if you say so, I'll try to say something that you like. But I feel like I like doing comedy outside of New York. Like when you go to the Midwest,
Oh,
they're
yes.
just polite.
Yeah.
You know? So like it's not that they're not laughing because like they don't like you. They're just polite.
Yeah.
And so I've learned, because I would do that, where I'd be like, what's wrong? Like, what, tell me what's wrong. And they're just like, no, we're having a great time.
Yeah, like, no, things are good.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, we just don't, they don't emote.
Yeah. I think that's the best place to be because it's honest. There are times where I'll see shows, and even sometimes like some of these indie specials that people have, where I'm like, all right, this audience is just, they're laughing at pauses now.
Right.
They're giving it up for it, which is awesome. I
Yeah.
understand the feeling, but it's like they're not even, like sometimes it started happening with like Chappelle.
Yeah.
Too.
Well, yeah, you get too big.
Yeah, I stopped watching him, but it was like there was a time. It was kind of controversial. It was like right after I think the like trans stuff came out, but he was just like, do not cut, or like do not give money to like Yellow Spring or like wherever fucking Springs he's from in like Ohio. You know what town is he from or some shit?
He's from, it's not Youngstown, is it?
Something Springs, I thought. It doesn't really matter,
Yeah.
but he said something that like, I don't know. He like, it felt like a betrayal to the town, but as he was at the town hall and as he went up to go speak, he gave just a very serious speech and nothing funny about it, and people were laughing at his pauses.
Yeah.
I was like, you fuckers don't listen.
Yeah, you become too big. I
Yeah.
think that's a curse of a lot of comedians. I think that, I mean, people become, people develop parasocial relationships with actors,
Yeah.
influencers,
Dude,
comedians.
comics especially.
Because
Yeah.
we're so accessible.
Yeah.
Like I have access to my favorite comedians, honestly, inner thoughts, because we go on podcasts. Comics go on podcasts and tell
Yeah.
like things that people wouldn't tell their therapists.
For sure.
But
yeah.
but I think that,
I wouldn't tell anything I've said tonight to fucking anyone.
and it's going on YouTube.
And it's going full unedited on YouTube.
On YouTube, yeah. And like I think about that all the time. Like my one friend who isn't in comedy, and we do have to wrap up soon, so I'll be brief. But
Fuck, we've been rambling. We didn't even get to most of the questions.
it's just so that I don't bomb. I have those
so you don't
prepared.
bomb.
Yeah, it's just so I.
Oh, so you don't like forget a question? Or
Yeah,
something?
exactly.
Oh,
We don't need. We don't need to ever run down them. It's just like a pre-show thing. But I was talking to my one friend who doesn't do comedy or podcast, but she was on a podcast for something specific to her field, and I listened to it.
It was
and
fucking boring.
No,
and,
it was great. It was great. And I texted her and I was like, "Oh, it was such a pleasure to listen to." Like, yada yada yada, complimenting her. And she just wrote back, "Oh, you listened to that, did you?" And because she was like embarrassed that of her being on display, and she was like, "I don't know how you do a podcast every week because I feel naked." Like, and and it's just one of those things. Podcasting and like comedy in general, performing in general, is just exposure therapy for me.
Yeah.
Of like, I'm putting this out there and someone's probably going to get upset about it,
Yeah.
And like, I'm so much more comfortable with strangers listening to this show than anyone I know.
Oh my God. I
want you to listen.
Please listen.
Please. I want the downloads,
But there is something about
being
being in a room of strangers and they just, I don't know. There's something so gratifying about being in a room full of strangers and getting them to understand you.
Oh my God.
It's amazing.
My whole plate in life is feeling misunderstood.
Yeah.
So to have that, it's just
yeah, and it's all at the result of your writing and how you present yourself. So that's the best thing about fucking stand up is it's all, you're the writer, the director, and the editor.
Yes.
It's so fucking nice.
It's an individual sport.
Yeah, and if one of those gets praise, the other two are also going to get, they all go hand in hand, but it's like, it's all you. You get all of the praise, and it's the best. It's the best feeling. It's always so funny whenever I talk to actors. I talk to like Manu especially.
Yeah.
And he'll be like, I could never do that. And it's
Yeah.
like, you actually could.
Yeah.
He was like, I'd rather act. He was
It's
like,
performing.
yeah. But it's so funny when actors are like, I need a script. That's my crutch. I'm like, you have to fucking memorize stuff.
Right. Which is my crutch.
Yeah.
You
It's
know?
like, what? Yeah, my crutch is like, I had this thought. I wrote it on a piece of paper so I kind of can just remember the gist of it.
Yeah.
But otherwise, this thought has been rumbling around in my head, and I'm just yelling it at strangers.
Yeah. It's been in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas like you have to go.
Take someone else's work.
You got to go learn iambic pentameter. Get the fuck out of here.
Literally.
That's impossible.
Yeah. But I think it is. I think that's also kind of like, it's bittersweet, I guess. I don't really know how to describe it, to like finally be at a level of, I guess, fame and adoration that you could be pausing and people are laughing at you. And it doesn't feel, it has to, as a comic, if you keep your head about you, feel like, oh, this isn't.
Yeah.
That's why the good comics that do theaters go and practice in clubs.
Yeah.
So that they're not just getting constant adoration and positive reinforcement from the audience.
I know those theater shows are so. You've gone to some, yeah. I'm assuming.
I've never performed in a theater, but
Yeah,
I've have I seen comedy in a theater? Yeah, I have. For
Who'd you
comics
see?
I really enjoy. I saw Nikki Glazer in
Recently?
not recently.
Okay.
It was before Tom Brady. It was like 2022.
Uh-huh.
She did a theater in AC. You know, it's in one of the casinos. It's a theater.
Okay.
Smaller theater, but
What, like 500?
maybe 1,000. Yeah.
Did she
but
fill it up? She
oh
sold
yeah,
out?
for sure. It was fully sold out.
That's awesome.
And she was great. She was so funny, but it just is like, it also felt like she didn't have to do her best work, and the crowd would have loved it.
They're giving it up.
They're giving it up.
Yeah.
Which is great. And I think Nikki Glazer is amazing. I think she's
a talent.
She's so
She's
funny.
a tank. She's undeniable.
She's a tank. And I'm just like, obsessed with her. But it would be so relax.
Act like you've been here before.
Yeah, literally. Because we're at an hour. He gets this way when we are at an hour.
Really?
Yeah.
He every time around
Every
60
time
minutes.
you could
Smart
go back
dog.
and watch the tape every week. It's
Wow.
always this.
What is it? Does he need attention or
No, yeah, he's probably like,
get out of my space?
you've been sitting here for an hour.
Wow. What if you play video? You have a PS5 here. What if you play video? What if you lock in?
That's fine. Yeah, he can allow video games. Finn, what are you doing? Get away from there. That's the litter box.
Oh, he just ate a bunch of cat shit. Yeah. Who's got a little brown nose now? He's licking his chops, man.
And like, he doesn't ever go into the cat box, but it's because he like wants attention that he's like moseying it over there.
He's like, you guys have been talking for an hour. I have to eat shit. That's insane.
He's like, Mom, this is what you've been doing the last
Dude,
hour.
he's like an Eagles fan. That's fucking crazy. Do you ever see that where they like after they won the Super Bowl a couple years ago, not this most recent one, but they were like they're like they just like started eating shit in the streets
because it was the first one in so long.
Yeah.
So people were very excited.
Oh my god.
That was the first year that I don't really watch sports, but the
Sure.
year that the Eagles won for the first time in a long time was the only season I watched. My friend's like a huge Eagles fan, so it was very exciting when they won.
Yeah.
Anyways, we gotta.
Anyways, we're talking about. Sorry, we should finish on a comedy.
Yeah,
point.
yeah. Just like people being like, doing theaters and just getting constant positive reinforcement.
Yeah.
And to your point of what you said about like some of the indie specials, like they're just being like people just giving it up.
Yeah, because it's
know?
like friends and stuff. Or like sometimes people they have these parasocial relationships too, where some of these comics have gigantic followings.
Yes.
So it's that too, and then they just don't really know how to behave at a comedy show. But it's not. It's like, I don't know. It's just a weird time as well, like with like heckling and shit, and like not that that's like an issue. I haven't really run into that yet. Maybe like one time recently, But it was like, I don't know, this girl like approached me after a show. She was like, how do you feel about heckling? And I was like, I don't
Think about it.
I don't really think it's a good thing.
Right.
I'm supposed to be there to do material. I like don't welcome it, but like I do a lot of crowd work because that's how I get you guys to fucking warm up and like relax a little bit. When she was just like, oh, I really think like if you can handle heckling, that like makes you like a really good comedian. I was like, yeah, but that's not your job.
Yeah, you don't know. You don't know.
Yeah, I'm not inviting you to make me a good comedian.
There was such a switch between like pre-pandemic comedy audiences and post-pandemic comedy audiences, because then the comedy industry changed because so much more was online. People started there was a need to put out content because everyone was on lockdown and just not getting up as much. So when you did, you would put clips out, and then it just kind of created this whole thing of crowd work being this other piece of content, and it trained people that aren't normally comedy, and even maybe some comedy audience people in general, that it's like, oh, this is like a call and response thing, like this is my job as an audience member, whereas I feel like before so much comedy, especially crowd work, was online, it wasn't like that. It was more of like, I'm sitting and I'm going to a show. I think
talk if talked to,
right speak if spoken to.
I almost said talk if
talking to.
But yeah, it's a little weird now. But it, again, like kind of circling back even another step to Nikki and stuff, it's like those theaters, they're there to see you.
Yes.
They're so excited
totally
to fucking see you. And it's just, this doesn't really have to do with anything we're talking about, but just the way those laughs travel, it's insane. I saw Ronnie Chang and Aziz Ansari do theaters, and I was like, wow, I can hear the laughter go up.
That's so, and
then come back down.
It's like a wave.
Go back down. And I have to watch, and the way they work out bits is they repeat the tag or some kind of act out like 4 or 5 times. They sit in that act out for like 30 seconds. 30 seconds, which is insane. That's a huge amount of time. But then it's funny to watch some of them go to the cellar and do that same thing. And then I'm watching, I'm like, all right, we heard you. We heard the fucking...
Right.
We heard you for the first 3 seconds.
It's a completely different thing.
Shut it off. Go to the next part, dude. I'm ready for more.
Yeah.
It's just a... Just don't do stand-up. No one should do stand-up anymore.
Don't do it.
I'm sick of it. I got enough. We all have eating disorders as well.
Yeah.
Is this supposed to be a podcast about eating disorders?
No, it's a podcast about, I mean, it's rooted in diet culture and talking about like the curse of existing in a body. But, you know, I have people on, like I have people on that talk about like their crazy OCD or whatever, like, but there, from what I've found with guests, is that there usually is, it doesn't have to be the whole of the conversation, but something will come out as it relates to dieting. And it happened here with wrestling and talking about it.
Well, we didn't even get to the part where I should have, this would have been more interesting.
Let's hear it.
My doctor did some blood work on me. Well, first of all, I just got health insurance.
Congrats.
Told the state that I don't make any money. And then all of a sudden I made a bunch of money from modeling commissions, and they're like, yeah, that's fine. We'll give you health insurance for a year. And I was like, okay. And so I have health insurance for like 6 more months or whatever the fuck. Got blood work done, got a primary care. And she calls me with the test results and she goes, hey, you have the heart of a 58-year-old man. Get
out of here.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
She was like, why? She was like, you have so much cholesterol and you have super high cholesterol. She was like, it's insane. She was like, and I was like, I'm trying to explain to her. I was like, oh, well, like maybe it's genetic. Like I have a pretty clean diet. And she goes, what are you eating?
Yeah, what are you eating?
She yells. She goes, what are you eating? And I told her my diet. It was pretty good. I was eating egg whites for the last like year, and I cut out dairy for the last year. I started to reincorporate it in the last like 8 months maybe, but like for that it was like a year and a half of like really trimming down on dairy. Yeah,
just to feel better.
Yeah. I was breaking out. I would get pimples from it.
Right.
So now if I take Lactate, I don't get pimples or like a stomach ache.
Yeah.
If it's like ice cream, fucking I need like 4 Lactate.
Yeah.
But then she was like, I think it's all of the processed food. You need to switch to like organic
whole foods.
And cut out all the like artificial oils. So I've been trying that for the last like few weeks. And honestly, fucking awesome.
Yeah, you feel better.
Oh my God. I've been
Yeah.
eating bean salads,
Yeah.
fennel salads.
Ooh.
I have tuna salad in my bag. It's probably really warm now. But you should try it. It's really good.
Yeah.
Raw mustard seed,
Nice.
celery, green onion, dill, pickles, Kewpie mayo. And
That
that's it.
sounds lovely.
And I made a tuna melt earlier with my friend.
And it just goes to show that you can be skinny and be,
On the verge of death.
have like a widowmaker thing going on with your heart.
I don't think I'm going to live past 40.
Oh, I don't want to hear that.
Count your days, folks. Start the timer now. We're going to put it right here. John Hedrick's doomsday clock.
Yes. You can find that clock over on his Instagram. Where
On
can
my
people find
Instagram.
you?
At John__Hedrick. On everything. TikTok, Instagram. I'm not on Twitter anymore. Not really on TikTok either. Do you use TikTok still?
Yeah, I use TikTok.
You posting? You
I post, but not in a way that moves the needle. I'm
Gotcha.
trying to.
But it's
hard. It takes up a lot of brain space.
Yeah, I hate it.
Yeah.
If you want to talk for another 2.5 hours, I have a lot
About
of
how awful
shit.
the landscape is.
Fucking stupid social media is. Follow me if you'd like. Come to my shows. They're a lot of fun. I'll probably yell at you.
He's a great time. Guys, everywhere you can find John will be in the description of the show. And until next week, we'll talk to you. Bye.